Welcome to NZ Money Karma, where you can find freedom from the daily grind. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. It's so good to be back again. The weather where I am now is a bit rubbish. It's pouring with rain. It's a little bit chilly, but grateful for a roof over our heads and a warm house to be inside at these times. I wanted to kick off today with looking at our yearly budget. I know that $36,500 seems like such a small amount of money for a family of four to live on, and especially when you add in there that we do quite a lot of travelling as well. So I wanted to go through the yearly budget so you can see what our bills look like. Maybe it provides some inspiration, and sometimes having a look at other people's numbers just can be really affirming for what you're managing to do as well. So here's our budget. Hope you can see that. So I've got here a list of all our yearly expenses. So I've looked back over our 2022 spending, and then I've increased it a little bit to take into account the changes that I expect to happen for things like rates and power. But other bills such as our gas have already gone up. So a 45 kg cylinder used to cost us 110. Now it's costing us closer to 150. So I've been able to add in the new prices there. So I've looked at how many cylinders, for example, we used last year, taken the new price, times it by 12, and then down here I've looked at a weekly cost. So we're looking at our rates here for people outside of New Zealand. That's your property tax. That comes in at $3,748. Power, so our electricity is $960 for the year. Gas is $1,120. That's only for our hot water. That's the only thing we have on gas. That seems really high to me. So I'm going to really be looking at maybe how long our showers are, because I think we can get that down a little bit. Insurance, that's our home insurance only. We do have life insurance at the moment, but we're feeling pretty comfortable that we're in a position very soon to self-insure. So we'll either cancel that this year or let it run its course and then not renew it next. Wood, that's how we heat our house. We're not in a position where we live now to go and find our own firewood and chop it, which is what we've previously done when we've lived in other locations. So $1,537. That was a bit of a surprise. Last year that was only just over $1,000, so that's gone up quite a lot. Looks like a lot in the shed, but it never is at the end. Phone, that's for our cell phone. We manage our cell phone a little bit like our home phone, so we don't take it with us everywhere we go. We pay for one telephone, and that serves our whole family. And that's the price for unlimited calls and unlimited text messages in New Zealand and Australia for the year. It has a tiny bit of data, but we don't really use that, so I'm not quite sure how much. The internet, at the moment we actually get free internet. I do believe we might have been the last people in New Zealand almost to get internet at home. So we had someone last year come and knock on our door and say, hey, try the internet at home. We'll give it to you free for 20 months. And then after that, if you like it, feel free to stay with us, or you can move companies. So we're not tied into anything, but it seemed like a pretty good deal. So we took it. I've just put some money there because we will probably keep it, and we will have to pay something obviously for that. Bulk food, I aim to have 1,000 each year, so that's what I've got in there. And then our professional registrations, we require those for work. They're not negotiable. All up, minus the rates, is $7,037. All up with the rates is $10,785. Then underneath that, I've taken this money and then I've divided it by 52, and that's given me how much I need to put aside each week to meet our costs. So bills is $135 a week. That's everything there apart from rates. Rates is $80. Travel. At the beginning of the year, we set this amount at $10,000 for the year. However, some of our basic costs have increased more than we expected. So we've dropped that down a bit, and this will give us just under $9,000, which should be fine as well. We just change our plans a little bit to kind of make whatever we have work. And if it's not enough to work, well, that just means we need to do a little bit more actual work, actual employed work to make our dreams come true. Weekly spend is $220. That's all the things I cash stuff. And then we have a weekly investment. We do invest over and above that, but this is what we work on for our $700 a week. So we say, okay, if we earn nothing else for the year apart from $36,500, we are still investing. So we put $50 in for our own investments, and then we split the other $50 between the two kids for investments for them each week. And that's how we get our 700. This isn't here for you to compare yourself against. It's just, I guess, a nice way you can be a little bit nosy at how someone else's bills look. And, you know, maybe you think, oh, actually, I could do my phone for cheaper. It's about $13 a month for that. Maybe that works for you. You know, who knows? But it's out there anyway now. Get on with our cash stuffing. I'm going to do my sinking funds first today because I couldn't get any $5 notes from the ATM. So I'm going to have to do a lot of switching out to make it all work. So these are my savings, I guess, folders you could call it. And we do have an emergency fund, so if something catastrophic happens in our lives or our pets' lives, we can manage that. The purpose of this is to avoid having to dip into that emergency fund. If I can think of it ahead, it's not really an emergency. Emergencies are things that you couldn't foresee. So we're going to start with giving. That's not an emergency, obviously, but we like to be generous with what we have. I'll talk more about what we do give to specifically in another video, but we do need to be planned about our giving and make sure we're putting something aside each week so that when time comes for us to gift that money, we have enough to cover our commitments that we've made. So I've got $35 in there, and this week I'm going to give $5. So I've got my $220 here already counted out. I'm going to swap that out, put in my 10. So now I've got 40. Our kids are sweet, and from their pocket money that they get, their $5, they put $1 away towards our giving as well because they wanted to be part of that commitment. So they put $1 into a jar each week, and then we add that at the end of the year when it's time to give. House maintenance. I have the lovely excuse of not working at all on the house and prepping it for painting because it's been so rainy. So I'm going to put $20 in there this week, and I'm going to swap this out because 20 plus 30 is going to give me my 50, and I'll use one of these instead. You might notice that I have managed to make labels for myself for the for my envelopes, which is pretty cool. I had a few goes at trying to do something at home just with, you know, scissors and paper, and I wasn't happy with the results. So I looked around in the community, what are the resources we have here where I live, and found that our library has a machine that can do this. So I went along and did that this morning. It cost me $6.50 for the actual vinyl that goes on here, but the time of the staff to show me how to do it and the actual machinery is all free. So I'd really encourage you to look at your local resources. What can you do in your community? What can you use before you kind of put your hand in your pocket and pay for something? Medical dental. I'll be a lot more comfortable when this gets close to 150, I think. I'm only going to put $5 in there today. So I'm going to swap that out and give it a 10. Maybe I'll swap those out. And hey, I'll give it a 20. The backgrounds for my envelopes just came from an old magazine that I had bought from the secondhand shop. So I just flicked through the magazines and found some pictures I liked, and that kind of matched and used those. Braces. This is an important one, and this might also require a bit of extra work. In my head, I've thought $5,000 for braces would be enough, but I have heard recently of friends who their kids' braces have been around $8,000. So that's a huge amount of money, and that might require me to do a little bit of paid work that I wasn't otherwise planning. But that's okay. You do these things for your kids, don't you? So braces at the moment should have 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And I'm going to give it another 20. So that will give me 60. So our animals, we're going to give them another 5. So that will bring that up to 20. And I'm going to swap this out. And I hope by the time I come to do my next folder, I have the right kind of money. So that'll be 20 in there. Tech, hoping to upgrade sometime in the future, not sure when. How do you guys manage your tech? You know, do you keep it going until it's kind of on its last legs, or do you switch it out before it gets there? I've always waited till things are right on their last legs and couldn't be repaired, you know, and invariably I end up kind of losing photos and information off them as well at the same time. So I'm not quite sure when that sweet spot is, when you can't do anything else about your tech, so you're not being wasteful, but before it actually dies. So I've had a 12-year-old laptop and I've got a 10-year-old iPad. So they do last for a while, but they definitely, one of them is on their last legs. Date night. Eventually like to go out on a date with my husband at some point. We'll just keep building that up till there's $50 or $100 or so. I'm going to put $5 in there, so that'll give me 10. And road trip. So I'm kind of excited about this one because I have made myself a little road trip challenge, which is in this envelope here, which I'll work on at the end. Let's keep it there for now. As well as the road trip to the family wedding, which is what this is going to be for, we also like to go on other adventures, and I don't want this to be the only focus. It's kind of come a little bit out of left field and I don't feel super prepared for it. So I'm going to try and speed up the savings there with a challenge. But once that's done and dusted, I'm sure there'll be something else that we kind of really want to do as well. So I'm just going to keep putting in $5 or $10 in here so that builds up and gives us an opportunity to go away as well. Gifts. My magazine didn't stretch as far as these last 2 envelopes, so I'll have to find something else for them sooner or later. Gifts is going to get $10. I do wonder what the protocol is for giving money for a wedding. It's been decades since we've been to a wedding, and the bride and groom have asked for cash gift. So I wonder, is it, do you kind of pay $100 per head, $50 per head? Is it something more? Is it something less? Are you trying to cover your costs for actually attending the wedding, as in the price of your meal and your drinks? I'm not quite sure. So if anyone has any ideas about that, please write it in the comments below. I'd love to know what anyone else has done when they've gone to a wedding and had to make a cash gift. And finally, I've got my husband. We've just found that having $10 is more than we need at the moment. We're not going out much. We are feeling very settled after having 3.5 months away where you eat out for every meal. We're really enjoying just being at home and kind of vegging out and enjoying our garden. So that's kind of nice. I'll put this to the side. So this is going to be my road trip challenge. There. Hopefully I've got enough 5s out for the next one. This is my wallet. This is what I use every week. Everywhere I go, I bring my wallet, and this is how I pay for kind of just our everyday stuff. So starting off first with our kai, that's any grocery shopping, any dinners out if we happen to do those. Rarely would we do those because they're kind of a bit expensive. So kai this week is going to get 50. So my goal, it's kind of an aspirational goal, but my goal this year is to only spend $50 a week. I'm not sure if I'm kind of living in cloud cuckoo land with that or not. I've managed to do it the last few weeks, on quite a small budget, but I'm not sure if that's sustainable. But man, I'm going to give it a really good go. Kids activities this coming week are going to be $15. So I'll put that aside. That's soon going to go up. It's going to join another activity, so I'm going to need a little bit more in there the following week, I think. For me, I'm also happy with a $5 this week. I've got, what have I got? $13.50 left over because I spent my $6.50 at the library today making these little labels. So another $5, that gives me $18.50. Fun money. This used to be called entertainment, but it was a bit too long when I was trying to print it out, so I changed it to fun. We should have 10 in there, and I'm going to give it another 5. Oh, am I going to run out of 5s? I think I might. Pocket money. That's going to be $10. So $5 for each child. Anything over $5 that they want, then that's part-time job time. And miscellaneous. Last week I did use the miscellaneous money at the supermarket. There were quite a few things on sale, and I really wanted to get a couple of bits and bobs that I didn't need for this week, but I could just see they were a good price, so I wanted to get them anyway. So $10 in there this week. And there you have it. So that leaves, that can't be right. What have I done wrong? That's $50 left over. Give me a moment, I'm going to have to think about that. Hey there, and as if by magic, I found my errors in braces and in the road trip folder. So I fixed them up, so they're looking a little bit healthier. The money left over obviously is looking a little less healthy, but that's okay. So out of the 220 that I had, I've got 25 left over. So that means my weekly expenses are 195, and now I'm going to start my little challenge. So unlike my labels, it's super low tech. It's literally an old sticker book that the kids had. I've taken the pictures and I've put them onto an envelope, and I've taken the stickers, or some of the stickers that were left over, and I'm going to put them on the envelope. So every time I stuff it, I'm going to put a sticker on. So if I put in $5, I'm going to put on a little sticker. If I put in $10, I'm going to put a medium-sized sticker. Oops, use that one because it's coming off. And if I put on a big sticker, I'm putting in 20. So I'm going to do a big one today because I've got it. So there's $25. Now I aim for this to pay for our campsite where we're staying for this wedding. So for 3 nights in the campsite in a cabin is $333. I've already made a $25 deposit, and the rest I hope I'll be able to sort out by having this little challenge, and I hope I'll find it as motivating as it seems to really work for lots of other people. So that's it today from NZ Money Karma. Take care.